because we become the oneness, you know what I mean? We connect with source, or whatever word we want to use.
Yep.
And then that's how it happens, you know, then we're not it, we're it, and it's us, and it's just one. And then there it is.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's profound, you know, and it happens with any type of creative endeavor or just communication, like what's happening with us now. I mean, writing, music, art, we just become the flow. We are creation. We connect with which we really are.
I love it. Beautifully described.
Comes and goes, you know.
Does it come and go? Or do we come and go? Because
Yes.
it's always there. Just lovely. Just lovely to be here now.
Yes. That just got me here. Yeah. And now, good to see you, Colin.
Likewise, thank you. Yeah, it's something that we perhaps don't do as much as we could, of just arriving and settling. And that, you know, the metaphor with the water and the sand, and it's swirling around and we can't see anything, and suddenly, now I can see. Yeah.
Especially when the water goes to the shore, no, and it sinks in also, like
Nice.
No, it goes back and it sinks in, and it's this hold before it starts again.
Yeah, I like the idea of the waves, because we talk about the waves of thinking, and then the pauses and the wave of another thought, and the pause.
Yes, the other day I was talking to Diane Witzka, and there were some pauses in there, no silence, and she was saying, oh, maybe our listeners will think about those, but why are we pausing, no, the silence? And then we started talking about the silence. No? At the end, it's without silence, there's nothing else. There's no silence, no, there's no sentences or music.
Yeah.
Our thoughts are very loud.
Yeah, because when you were saying that, I was thinking of your writing, Gail, in terms of the sentences, the flow, the spaces, the white space around it, and all of those contribute to the story or the message, and similarly with music. But we always notice the words or the notes, not the silence. And sometimes that extra space really helps.
Yes.
Well, not helps, it enables it to happen.
Yes, and it also strengthens it, because without the pause, if we would be talking continuously, you wouldn't understand the emotions behind it. No, you wouldn't understand what's really being talked about, because it would be like
Yeah. And those who, again, you can look at the contrast with writing and speaking. Those people who talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, or a paragraph that goes on and on and on. You kind of, I want to take the breath. I want that pause to receive it. And it's almost as though if it's a long paragraph, do I want to read it?
Less is more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And do you find with your writing, Gail, that taking that point of less is more, that the more you can extract from it, be it words out of a paragraph or a sentence, and even paragraphs out of a chapter, it, even though it seems weird that you're removing words, it actually makes it better. Do you find that? Yeah.
It emphasizes, no? Something makes it stronger, yeah? Emphasizes it.
Yeah. Because I've noticed some posts from people that we know where they have short lines, might be 2 or 3 words, 4 words, and then another line, another line, another line. So not quite poetry, but it's dot, 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 dot. And it has an impact. That style has an impact. I don't know what your thoughts are, Gail, when you see those as a writer.
Yes.
It either comes through or it doesn't, it just, you have to get the words just so. And sometimes less words is more, it just, you have to convey what you're trying to say. It's not easy. It's not easy.
And because you have to have the right words also, no? That are impactful, being less.
Yeah.
And for them to match together in something that creates something bigger, no? Also, because the 3 words maybe with other combinations wouldn't have the same impact that the 3 words together, the ones that have been selected.
You know what it is? I'm just thinking about this as we're talking about it. As a writer,
Yeah.
It's clarity. It's like when you are really clear about what you want to say, there it comes, and it comes through you. It's not it's like it's given to you in a way, but it's the clarity that allows it to come through. You could say something, as we said, you could say something with 100 words, or you can say it with 3. And it's the clarity that those 3 words will come right through.
Nice. I like that. So it's that when you're in the moment with your words, that clarity comes through you as opposed to being thought.
Yes.
Wow, I like that. So it's like you are being written.
Totally.
Or you are being spoken.
Totally.
Right. And does that feel like the flow state that we talk, that is talked about a lot, where time almost stops and the writing just flows, and it's like, wow, did I write that?
Right. We're out of our own way. And then it comes through.
Right. And how do we, I'm playing with this, how do we find it? How does it arrive? And I'm curious about whether it's like, can you think it through? And I'm not sure you can. But is there things that you do, or things that you focus on as to how that flow arrives?
I think we have to let it be. We can't make it happen. We can't really force it. I was recently watching a video of Paul Simon, and he was sharing about how when certain lyrics came through to him, that there were certain songs that the music and the lyrics, it just came through, and he knew Oh, this is a good one. This is really one
Yeah.
that's really special. I think he mentioned it was the sounds of silence and bridge over troubled waters, you know, and
Yeah.
but he just knew that when it came through, this was really special, but it had nothing to do with him. And in a sense, he was applying, you know, implying he was the transcriber,
Yep.
so to speak.
Yeah. And I like that knowing.
Yeah.
Isn't it strange that we're surrendering, we're letting go, we're getting out of our way,
Right.
and we, even as it feels like as it's flowing through, we know that this is right, and almost stop. Don't think that. Just stop trying to get in the way of it. Let it just come through. Let it come through. Write it, speak it, or whatever it is that needs to happen.
Yeah.
And then look at it and you just go, yeah, this is it. Just edit it a little,
You just know.
put it out. Yeah. And when I've had those moments, it also feels as though previous to it, as I'm thinking aloud now, I was getting glimpses of that. It was almost as though I was getting the message. Colin, listen to this, listen to this, listen to this. Yep, I'm listening to it. Okay. And then it disappears. And then suddenly it's like, right, now do it. And then you write it. And it just almost like you've allowed the pen to write itself.
Get out of your own way.
Yeah.
The intuition that comes in.
Yeah.
The calling is like the intuition for you to listen to it, no? And like Gail is saying, get out of your own way
Yeah.
and let it flow. No, for me, it's this focusing on the heart, on the feelings,
Right.
and let it flow. And then I read and I say, wow, thank you. I don't say thank you to me. I say thank you, because I know.
Because we become the oneness, you know what I mean? We connect with source or whatever word we want to use.
Yep.
And then that's how it happens, you know, then we're not it, we're it, and it's us, and it's just one. And then there it is.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's profound, you know, and it happens with any type of creative endeavor or just communication, like what's happening with us now. I mean, writing, music, art, we just become the flow. We are creation. We connect with which we really are.
I love it. Beautifully described.
Comes and goes, you know.
Does it come and go? Or do we come and go? Because it's always there, my sense.
Absolute, yeah.
And it almost, have we sort of got in our own way with it? Have we got in our own way of it, and therefore it doesn't flow?
And we put the mind in there. Our self, no? Ourselves in this case. Myself together. I mean,
Myself together.
Myself, and not letting the self go through, no? Like the spirit or the source or whatever it is, no? It's reality. You're letting it flow through you because you're not blocking it with your mind, which is myself.
But we're so used to doing that. So
yes,
you know, what I'm learning more and more every day is that it's a lifetime practice, a lifetime commitment, a lifetime intent that we have to know that, wow, this is the most important thing to me, and I have to make it a practice because the default is very strong.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I was talking to that, the other day, the willingness, the effort at the beginning to really be willing to listen and to observe and all the things, and because I was with some friends and they were saying, well, me, I'm very accommodated. I don't want to, I want to be told to remember to look inside. And I said, no, but at the end, it's your willingness, your effort at the beginning, the effort to be willing, then it becomes naturally. Why do you have to have an alarm or something telling you, look inside? When it's
What did they want? I didn't understand.
They were talking about a contract. They were talking about a contract that you have a contract of 5 years. And after 5 years, for instance, the contract finishes. And because the contract finishes, you're in a relationship. So the contract finishes and it's for you to be reminded that the contract is finishing. So be willing to continue in the relationship, do everything possible because the contract is finishing. And I was saying, why do you need a contract? I just didn't understand it because I said, it's every day. No, every day you have to be taking the effort to be okay in the relationship, to be with who you are because you want to be there and because the person is good with you and because you together are creating a relationship, but it's every day. I don't have to have a contract to remind me that it's going to finish or to be careful not to lose the contract, And so they were saying, but it's very good because then people get reminded and they put more effort. I say, but why do you need an external source to tell you what is for you to look after every day? No? And so they were saying, no, because it's very, I like to be comfortable. I like to be, I don't have to be looking at it all the time. And I said, you don't have to, but it's the beauty to really be willing and learning every day and observe yourself, what you have to change, what not to have something that tells you alarm saying, hey, it's going to finish now, behave. No? Or now listen, or now see yourself.
So it becomes that daily practice. And the more work you put in up front, the better it will be.
Yeah, simple.
As I think it was Simon Sinek says that if you brush your teeth do you notice anything? Not really. If you go to the gym once, do you notice anything? Not really. Even if you go there for 3 hours to the gym, you're not going to notice any difference. But if you do clean your teeth once a day, every day, or twice a day, every day, then when you go to the dentist, he will say your teeth are fine. In 6 weeks, they say, once you've been regularly going to the gym, you will notice a difference. And I think there's something in that, which is that we're so used to the doing of what we do, we forget that there's a beingness underneath that. And sitting, and even simple practices such as, allocating a time every day to just focus on your breath, for example, be it only 10 minutes or 15 minutes. It's a regular practice. And you don't notice anything straight away. But over the days and weeks and months of regularly doing it, more often people will say, what are you doing? Because you seem to be different. You seem to be calmer. You seem to be coming from a different place when you show up. It's noticeable. That's my thoughts.
Yeah.
Well, I was wondering, Jeannette, if that's what your friend was referring to, because I was having a hard time understanding what what it was. But I mean, I think we can, as Colin was saying, to understand, wow, this is where I am right now. It just is what it is, that I'm so caught up in my emotions. It's been a way of life. So I'm going to set for myself a practice, 2 times a day, 15 minutes a day. I'm going to meditate or practice. And I mean, that in a sense is an external reminder, which we need, but it's coming from the impetus to, knowing what we need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you have to be willing to know what you need and not
Exactly.
live only by the outside world. That's the difference. You are the one. I am the one that takes at the beginning the effort to take 15 minutes twice a day to breathe.
Yeah.
Because I'm interested for me
Right.
to be able to get out of myself, you know, get out of my way and grow. But other people might not be interested to that, so they just don't do that because it's not their interest to grow. And so they just their interest. I don't say my friends, but it's their interest to live whatever they're told to live. No, I don't know. Have this, do this, do this, do this, do this. So they're really not worrying about themselves. They're just worrying to reach everything they've been told to reach.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not coming from within. In other
No.
words, that your friend, now I'm thinking
Yeah.
about it, they were saying, I want, well, you said the word contract, but they want somebody else to remind them, but in a sense, they're not taking
No.
responsibility or ownership for their own life.
Yeah.
Really, you have to have that awareness to begin with, to know that this is up to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. That's the the start, the point of view is totally different. It's from within, from myself,
Exactly.
and not from without, not from outside and for others.
Yeah. It feels
And
like an
then,
abdication
yeah, and
of
then,
responsibility.
yeah,
Yeah.
the responsibility is not in you, for yourself.
Do you think that we arrive at a place of, let's say, the sense that we make of the world is not it's not resonating with us anymore, and that we arrive at a place of, I wonder what's really inside of me, and how do I listen to myself first, and what is it that's calling out to me, that's always been calling out to me, that I've not been listening to. And I'm playing with that idea of the what's before, what could come before the doing, because the doing is external. I'm doing this for or against or to or something, rather than how can I just be in this place, be in this space before I do any of the doing, so that I arrive with a willingness to listen, a willingness to be empathic, to be compassionate, to be grateful. These sorts of practices. There's somebody we know, Gail, called Kevin. I'll say Strauss. It's not. I can't. There's a second name now, but he's focused on gratitude.
Monroe,
And Monroe.
Kevin D.
Yeah,
Monroe.
yeah, and he's sharing that with the world,
Mm-hmm.
and that we can show up with more gratitude into every situation, even going to the coffee shop. How can I be grateful that this coffee shop is here? The skills of the barista, the energy and attentiveness of him to put his heart into the cup of coffee for me, because it feels different. It tastes different. And, we can do that with our messages. Am I paying full attention to the writing of this message? And maybe if we make that the practice, to give all of our attention, little by little, who we are starts to shape the message, but also the energy that arrives with the message. Because I think you could almost see the same words from the same person and know this was not written with, this has been done, rather than this comes from their heart.
Yes. It's this open-heartedness, I think. Showing up everywhere, open-hearted.
Yeah.
The smile in your face, open-hearted, giving, no? Like, just being. Yeah. And I love
Colin,
it because...
when you were... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go, Gary.
Thanks. I was thinking about, what makes us come to that place. I thought that's what you were asking.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, does it take challenges in our life, which really give us that impetus to say, oh, I might want to do something different now, because when everything is fine and everything is going along all hunky-dory, there's no reason to look inward. There's no reason to do anything other than what we were doing beforehand. And that could be, we could be in being like an automaton, on autopilot, and then would show through in the writing. And so I know personally for myself, and as a woman's memoirist and working with women and helping them tell their stories, it's the challenges are what give us pause or reason to question, oh, is there a different way? Is there another way? I don't want to suffer.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. That's such a good reminder, because you go, oh, that was one of the kickers, one of the initiators of that deeper dive in whatever it is. And I'd forgotten that, because I can think back on some of the events of my life that have been those moments, and it's like, this is so painful. What's happening? And isn't that kind of wonderful that life does that for us? It's constantly giving us those frictions. Is she gonna listen now? No, right? Okay, here's another one. They've listened. Yes. It feels a little bit like that.
I know, Jeannette, at one point you and I have spoken, because I told you that I'm a follower of Mickey Singer, and that he is my spiritual teacher. And he always says, Earth is a place where souls are sent to evolve. It's like, why are we here? Why were we born? What are we doing here? What's the reason? That's what it's about, to grow. That's how I see it.
Yeah, me too. I believe it. To grow into myself, into the self, in the source, and get out of my way.
Do you think we get led there? See, I mean, I'm like you, Gail, and I guess you as well, Jeanette, like Mickey Singer, and there's so much in his work that resonates. But there are times you can almost go through the bookshop and that's one I need. Almost as though you're being called to take this book, to have that little bit of an input to your life that stops us. You might just be opening the book and you see something and it's like, I've got to get this. And it's like, I hadn't intended to buy a book. I hadn't intended to buy who, I don't even know who this person is, but there was something in the book that called you. Or the opposite. Sometimes you're recommended a book and you get the book and you look at it and you think, no, not for me. Maybe not for me yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I've certainly noticed that. His book, The Surrender Experiment,
Yeah.
I tried to read 3 times and didn't land at all. And then one day I just knew I had to pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I read it from cover to cover and loved every single bit of it.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
you know,
There
it
you
is
go.
that. Yeah. And so if that's the premise that you said, Jeannette, Gail, that we're here as a place to evolve, then the universe, source, spirit, whatever, is a really kind, thoughtful, encouraging, supportive place that if you don't notice it, that's fine. It's not, it will never, it won't beat us up for it. It's constantly sort of, what's the right word? Is that benevolent? It'll never give us more than we can deal with, but it will keep being there, being there, being there. And then one day we notice and it goes, oh, great, you've noticed. But it's even, as I say that, it's even less, it's even emotionless, as in, it's, you've noticed. Not, oh, wonderful, you've noticed, but you've noticed. That's okay. And then you distract and it's like, okay, they've not. They've come back. They've noticed, not noticed, and so on. And then as my sense is that as we do more of it, it enables us to go deeper and deeper.
Yes. Mm.
So nice to be here, getting nurtured and growing.
Yeah. And it's, how can we be, again, it's part of the practice. How can we be more supportive of each other in this space? How can we encourage more to be in this space with us? And so each of us has a chance, like you're doing with your messages that you put out, Jeannette, and the conversations you have with people. You're putting them out because this is your art. This is your creativity. If it lands with no one, that's fine. If it lands with one person, that's fine. Or 100 people or 1,000 people. But you're not doing it for the numbers. It feels like you can't not do it. I've got to put this out. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're called to do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've responded to that, to this
Yes.
knowing for me to co-create, to be in conversation and co-create.
Yeah.
And I just responded to it, and I love it because I grow every time, and because I know that if we don't experience it, we don't know what it is. So it's for everyone, whoever I can touch with conversations, to experience that, so that they continue growing and also have the conversations with others, and so we create the positive impact, the ball of co-creation.
So it's like finding that book in the bookshop, is that people will find one of your posts, one of your videos, and they'll go, oh, I've not seen this. Let me have a listen. You might put out, as you've done recently, a short clip, and that might be enough. They go, I've got to listen to the rest of this. And suddenly I want to listen to more of them. And suddenly they find they've listened to 10 of them. I've certainly done that with different podcasts at different times. And little by little, I think you notice more. And it feels like being home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It feels like I could be having this conversation too.
Yes. It's the ripple effect.
Recognize something inside yourself from listening.
Yes.
Yeah.
We know it.
Mm-hmm.
We know it. We feel it. You said it, Jeannette. We experience it.
Yeah.
And then we know it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so beautiful, Jeannette, that because I know what prompts you, or for lack of a better word, that your reason for doing the podcasts and the talks is so beyond your thinking. You know, we've talked about that a lot, that it's your heart that knows, that's connected. It's so beyond the thoughts. You can't think your way into this.
And it's so beautiful, no? It's so magical. It's magical because it's so incredible. We cannot think our way through that. It's so limiting if we do.
Yeah.
And then the other way is this openness, this just beingness, and this co-creating, no, from the heart is just limitless. And
I think that's the rub, because we're taught to think that we can think our way out of this.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That like it's I have to solve this problem. I have to think. And
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
it's erroneous, you know, it's just not true.
No.
And we each have to either find that or not, you know, through that recognition that we were just saying before. Something will show up
Yeah.
and we'll be like, oh, wait, what just happened here? You know, something.
Yeah. Yeah, something different happens. We notice it, we experience it, we feel it, we sense it, and we know it. Because when we're in our head, this is my making sense of it, the only time we know it's the right is because the numbers add up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Whereas what we're talking about is something I think very different, that we feel our way. Sorry, I have somebody at my door. Bear with me.
No,
Bear with me. Sorry.
No worries, no worries. We will feel our way.
Life happens.
Yeah.
But I think what Colin was saying was that when the numbers add up, you know, that's an external cue. You know, we're looking outside to get the next step, as opposed to internal when we're connected. I know, you know.
Yes. It's again, no, to this what we said before. It comes from the inside,
Right.
and for it to come from the inside, that we've been living from the outside, it has to be experienced. Just a glimpse, so that then once you have it, once you have felt it, you want it again, no? To feel that nurturing and this magic, no? This so such a beautiful feeling. And so once you have experienced it, you want to continue experiencing it. So you do your best, you are willing, and you are becoming responsible for making it happen, to have this experience again. And with that, you grow, no? You understand, and again, you know that through this glimpse, it was just a little glimpse of the knowing that this is the growth, the path.
Mm-hmm. And then I think at some point, this has been my experience, that when we know that we want that connection, which I think is what the glimpse of the beauty is, and we know that we have to have it, at some point it becomes clear that we have a lot of stuff inside of us that is getting in the way of us being able to feel that connection or that glimpse on a, always, and that we have to let go of things that are inside us. And, it's not an easy process. It's painful. We've held on to things and we've had painful experiences. This is what I'm learning anyway. We've had painful experiences and they were hard to experience fully. I mean, it's just a natural tendency to not want to go there, but then we carry them. And at some point we have to experience that feeling that we've kept inside of us. Everything passes. I think we were saying that before, if we allow it, but we have to go through some moments of uncomfortableness.
Yeah.
It's just, it is what it is. It's doesn't feel good. And we have to do it anyway. That's what I'm learning.
Because we know.
Right. What's on the other side, what's on the other side, we want that so much that we're willing to do anything. It's finding ourselves, really. I mean, what?
Yeah. And a sense that we have to break open.
Yes.
To break to open and let the light in. And almost a feeling, it's almost like saying, if we don't have to work for it, why, as you said, Gail, why bother doing anything? So I think there is something in the work that we do to enable our beingness, or whatever it is, this true self, to find ourselves, to come through, because it's there. And I'm wondering now, because I'm saying to myself, well, it's not easy, but it's not easy because of all the conditioning that we've wrapped around ourselves and taken and given our responsibility away to it. We don't want to change that, but actually when we do is where we get the real freedom and the real liberation. And it is easy, but we made it complicated by putting all these layers on, or accepting all of these layers from other people of what we thought were truths, but were not truths. And then when we go, well, let's just let those go. Or, we ask that there's an inquiry. Maybe it's this inquiry that we do. We ask ourselves questions. What is it I need? What is it I want? Who am I? That perennial question, who am I? And who is experiencing this? And maybe as we start to ask those questions, that's when we get out of our own way. And it's there for us again, as it always has been. We just hid it away, or hid ourselves away from it.
Then we have limited ourselves.
Yeah.
Because of the mental, or the thinking, the reaction, the outside and not the inside.
Yeah. Because there's that story of the Chinese, or it doesn't necessarily need to be Chinese, but his son, no, the horse, that's right, the horse, he's a farmer, and his horse runs away, and his friends go, oh, that's awful, and he says, maybe not. And they don't quite understand, and then the next day the horse comes back with 3 or 4 others, and they go, "Oh my gosh, that was amazing." He said, "Maybe, maybe not." And then his son gets injured trying to put a horseshoe on one of the horses. He breaks his leg, and they go, "Oh, that's awful." He said, "Maybe, maybe not." And then the next day, the Confederate army comes over and says, "Oh, well, we can't take your son because he's injured." And they go, that's lucky?" And he goes, "Maybe, maybe not." So no judgments. It is what it is.
Yes, yes. And there's always different point of view to everything, no? So it is what it is, because it depends on who sees it, how you see it, and
Yeah.
everything. It is what it is.
Yeah. Nice.
It's us just seeing it from different angles.
We're not used to that perspective here in the Western world anyway. But when I was listening to those examples that you gave, what came to my mind is that Buddhist saying, just tree, like you look at a tree and you see a tree, you don't see a tree that your son fell out of 10 years ago and broke his leg and his back bothered him forevermore. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah. I like that. Just tree.
Just tree.
Yeah, and then there's this, along the same lines, there's also that Zen saying, flowers are red, grass, water is blue, grass is green. And it's so simple, but it's so profound because it's not anything else, maybe, maybe not. It is what it is, but that's the hardest thing for us because
Yeah.
we're so wounded, really. We're so have our opinions that we're holding on to for dear life because we're not okay inside. So
Yeah.
that's what's motivating us in a way. We think that this is what we have to do to be okay, to have all these opinions and to change people. And but when it's just tree, it's a whole other life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Easy to say, I'm sitting here
Sure.
spouting everything, but it's a little bit more day by day, I'm getting there, but at least I
Yeah.
know what I'm after, right?
Yeah.
And you
It's
have
it's
felt,
it's all work in progress.
then you have felt the simplicity that we've been on the other side, outside, no? We've been there. And looking from the inside out, doing our best to be responsible for our growth and really for yes. So it's simpler than what we thought it was.
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
the beauty. Simpler, there's also less drama. There are so many things that aren't there anymore. There's freedom, no? That wasn't there, and now it's freedom. You're free. You're choosing moment by moment because you are who you are. So there are so many things that are very simple, but if you haven't experienced them, they look complicated because you are thinking them from here.
Right. Thinking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you haven't lived them. So it will be based on your experience of what you've lived, your shoes and everything. So here. So you see them complicated. And it's so simple. No?
Yeah.
And yet look at how people in the world are the politicians. It's like they're trying to change other people and make other people, they can't be who they think that these people should be. I mean, when you think about that,
Yep.
how not okay are you inside when you have to change other people so you could be more comfortable and make laws
Yes.
to do. I mean, it's just, here it is, right? The human condition. I mean, what else? It's like,
Yeah.
It's just a tree.
We've got to go to war for peace. The war on
Yes.
peace.
Ah, it's incredible.
Fight for peace.
exactly. Right.
You're right. And what pain are they under? What traumas have they had? What journeys have they had? That in order to meet my needs, I've got to change everybody else's.
it's unbelievable, you know,
Yeah.
it's sad, and that's just a word, SAD. And so many people are suffering more because of these other people that really are so miserable inside that they spend all this energy saying that other people have to change so they can feel better in themselves.
Yeah.
It's really, it is what it is.
Yes. So, in order for me to feel good and right, I have to make you bad and wrong.
Yeah. It's insecureness and so many issues they have inside. Because as soon as you are good with yourself and you are walking your talk because you are good with yourself, and whatever you say that you envision, and that you're not doing people changing, you're envisioning something because you are walking that talk, then you are promoting change, but because you are the change also, no? So it's not, and because you are respecting and valuing and loving yourself, so you do the same with the other ones. And so change happens through that, no? From the inside out, and not from the pushing or others to do what you don't do so that you feel better. And
Right.
in your feeling better ego related thing, no?
Where does the
Egocentric.
need for power and control come from anyway? It's like, that's
Yeah.
what we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and we can be, they talk about human beings, you know, the being is in there. We're not human doings. And yet, and the moment we spend our time in our heart, or even as you've said many times, Jeannette, you know, what is my heart calling out to be done,
Yeah.
or want to be done, or whatever? And I think if we able to answer that question, or even ask that question, and what about all the hearts? What do all the hearts really want? And I think most people, we all want the same thing. You know, we just want to be together.
Yes.
That's it. There's nothing magical about it. And I think most people are capable of being together.
Yeah.
We want to love. We want to be loved, feel loved, and love
Yeah.
others. That's the connection, being together,
Yeah.
as you put it.
Yeah. And that's it. And, you know, and it's okay to say that you love someone. You know, I did it on a post today, last night with someone. And I just said, I love you more. Having read what you've written, I love you more. And, you know, this is not someone I'm having a relationship with. I am having a relationship with, obviously,
Yeah.
but not having a romantic relationship with. But I can still love them,
Yeah.
as I love you too.
Yes. And
You know?
Gail and I use it a lot. We do. We say people, I love you, because we really feel it.
Yes.
I really feel it. And it's a beautiful love. I love it.
Yes.
I feel it. And
It's the most
sometimes-
natural thing in the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we go away expanded. Our heart is more open. Our heart is more expanded. And therefore, the next person we meet, we greet them, we arrive with them in a very different way.
Yes.
And as we look at this more, it becomes easier to do it. It's about being calm and centered, almost at that moment we had at the beginning. It was like, we're here. Because if I'm not here, I'm somewhere else. I can't respond. I can't be with, because I haven't got here yet.
Yes.
And I was in I was entering into a chat room some while back, and it was clear I was not happy with me. I knew, I could feel it. And I could feel I was like miles away. And what it called me to do, and in fact, you know now I'm looking at you, Gail, you know exactly where it was. I was furious that day. All right, it doesn't matter, but there was a situation. And I was thinking, I wasn't present. I know now I wasn't present. If I'd done, I would have noticed what was going on and go, okay. And I think that's the bit. So I'm still in my head over there, not in my heart here. And today is very different. I was excited when I looked at us today to be here. And so I didn't have to even think about it. It was just like, just be here.
And that's the work. We're going to have those days. We're going to be furious. We're going to feel ill, whatever it is. It's not about not having those experiences. It's, like dealing with it, handling it in a certain way. I think as I've been listening to everything we're saying, I wanted to share that it almost seems like what we've been talking about is taking the ultimate responsibility for our own life.
Yes. Yes. 100%.
That lands.
Yeah.
And at times, we don't want to take any responsibility for it. Can someone else take care of me, please? But it's like, I'm in charge of me. That's it. That's all I can do. I can't be in charge of you. I can't change you. But if I show up calmer, more open-hearted, then maybe that energy that I'm radiating will cause you to wonder, cause you to think, cause you to go, I wonder how he does that or she does that, or how they are being that. Is there something I can learn from this?
Because it went beyond the thoughts.
Yep. There's something about that person, their calmness, their presence, or whatever. There's something there. And that's the thing is, I think we all know it. We can all sense it if we want to. And if we're present enough, we'll sense it.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if I'm not here now, then what's the point? Wouldn't it have been better if I'd have come to the call today and said, I'm not in the best frame of mind for today. And I would rather the two of you have the conversation and I'll back out and we'll perhaps do this again. Wouldn't that be, that's me taking responsibility for my stuff. Something may have happened this morning. Because of that, I'm obviously going to be distracted all the time. So being honest, this is the situation. And both of you go, okay, it's not what we were expecting, but what is it? It is what it is.
You'll be, just by doing that, you will be open-hearted already. Because you've been acknowledging where you are, and you are feeling, and knowing you are in your head. But you're saying open-heartedly, with honesty, saying, I'm in my head. I won't be able to go into my heart, to feel every word you say, to share through the heart, because my mind will be playing with me.
Beautiful observation. Yes.
And we could
Until
say,
we can accept. Oops.
No.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying, just at that moment, maybe we would say, Gail, and I would say, just stay a little bit. And then you're able to go deeply in the heart, because you were already open-heartedly saying.
Good point. Yeah, I like that. Been vulnerable. I've been vulnerable.
Yeah.
You might also say, would it help if you shared what was on your mind? And I would know with you too that would be safe. And you go, oh, yeah. And you would give me that space, because you were both in the present moment. You could go, okay, this is where we're going now, and that's fine, rather than, oh, well, I thought we were doing this.
That's thinking.
And and listen to the language, and you've just messed it up.
And I would be thinking, no, expectations are thoughts,
Yep.
and are not now, are thinking up front,
Yeah.
with the mind, no?
Yeah.
And this is adjustment every moment, saying, okay, just share with us, we're here. Yeah. And Gail, you wanted to say something? Sorry.
Oh, yes. Let's see. We were talking about accepting, being with what is. Okay. I'm in my head right now, and I was thinking of this saying that until we can accept that there's gravity, we can't learn to fly.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Beautiful. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have to be with what is,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how painful it is, or no matter how much we don't like what it is, or we do like what it is, and it's going to change anyway. No matter
Yeah.
what it is, it's going to change. Like the Buddhists say, we cling to something too, if we like it so much that we want to hang on to it forever, but then we miss what's happening.
Yes.
Moment. Everything passes and moves on. It's the impermanence, I guess. That word used to scare me when I would see that word, that
Yeah.
long word, impermanence. Okay, yes, I'm gonna die, but yeah, I am, and nothing stays the same.
Mm-hmm.
And we could either dance with that or fight it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we're never going to win if we fight it,
Exactly.
because death will arrive. But if we go, that taking your gravity bit and flying, it's the same as the moment we can accept dying, we start to live.
Exactly.
And they talk, don't they, about the sort of Buddhist, whether it's Buddhist or the samurai, I think it is, they die every day in order to live every day. And I think there's something in that, however hard and challenging that might be. But actually, yeah. And so when I think about dying, then it's like, so how can I love more today? Everything and everyone that I'm connected to or can be connected to. And being mean-spirited at times, you go, why do I want to do that? Why can't I just love them with all that I can?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a nicer way to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nicer way to be. There you go again. Nicer way to be.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, as I play with that, the words I get, it feels that everything flows better. It's like putting oil on the tracks, that everything goes much smoother, with less noise, with less disruption. And just being love, as you said right up front, Gail. We just want to be loved, want to love and be loved. That's it. It's a pretty short story.
Yes.
But it's a long journey to get there.
Well, I really appreciate you. Love you guys. Colin
Yeah.
D, it's so beautiful. It's our first co-creation here with three, and it can be with many more people, because at the end co-creation comes from the hearts to hearts. How many we are, no? And the world that is in front of us it's of co-creation of heart, openness, and loving openly, being love
Yeah.
and sharing, yes, through the heart to grow
Yeah.
together.
Loving ourselves.
Yeah. For me, I appreciate, Jeanette, you having the courage and the determination and patience to start this all off and come from your heart on a regular basis. And for
Yes.
you, Gail, is the wisdom that you've shared. And we talked right up front about the using fewer words. At times you've used very few words, but they've been very, very powerful. So I appreciate that today from you. Yeah, it's been a lovely time.
Yes, and me from you, Colin, is always your being here-ness.
Thank you.
Listening and the being here, no, the bringing us down when we land into the conversation. You're always so good with that. And I appreciate it a lot because you hold us also. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, it does feel like our arms around each other, doesn't it? Yeah, it's very nice, very nice. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Love to you both. All right.
Same.
Take care, and thanks for suggesting the idea,
Yes.
Gail. Yes, great idea.
Yes. Yes.
We made it happen. All righty. Take care. Love to you both.
The same.
All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.